This is Athlete Lives Network exclusive interviews. Today our guest is Keith Jackson, basketball player, East Chicago Central class of 1987. How you doing, Keith?
I'm doing okay, and you?
You're doing real well. Basically, in our interview, man, I want to ask you a lot of questions, range from different topics, really involving the whole sports with East Chicago Central, football, basketball, and get your opinion on that, as well as get your history and your athletic experiences, all right?
Okay.
Just want to start off with you, man. Just give us a little background on you and growing up in the city of East Chicago and your earliest influences in sports.
Um, I grew up in the projects, also known as West Calumet Complex. Growing up, I played baseball over at the park on the corner, down from the swimming pool. I played a lot of baseball there. Played basketball coming up. Played bitty basketball. Played elementary ball at Cary Gosh. Then I went on to West Side and played 7th and 8th grade. And during that time, I had a strong passion for the game. Once I got into high school, some things changed for me, and I started taking it less serious. I played freshman basketball. I played sophomore and junior year. I played JV basketball at East Chicago Roosevelt, and that's when things kind of went south for me. Attitude was adjusted in a negative way. Bad influences, made some bad choices. So basketball was no longer that important to me as far as me playing, but me being a true sports fan, I followed the game, and I have a lot of knowledge about the game of basketball, about the game of football, about the game of baseball. And it's through research, reading, watching TV, watching a lot of interviews, watching a lot of games, and paying attention to detail, watching for the small things that happens during the course of the game. And I really think that that's helped me out, because I think that I really do have I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to just athletics, period, and had things been a little different, I believe that, maybe coaching or something was something that I probably could have done, or, the journalism route, being a sports reporter, sports broadcaster, because that's really what I had desires to do when I was young growing up, because it became apparent that I didn't have the athletic ability to go further, to be maybe a professional basketball player, which is something that we all dream about when, we're like, 7, 8 years old, and you're out in the park by yourself playing, and you're Dr. J or Magic Johnson or somebody like that, and you're making that game-winning shot to win the championship. I think that's something that many of us went through, and that's definitely some of my experience that I have very fond memories of.
Now, growing up in East Chicago, what are the pressures of being an athlete? Just growing up, competing against different athletes. Are there any pressures?
Yes, I think the biggest pressure is wanting to be the best. Work ethic is important, and growing up, that's something that I don't think that too many of us really knew anything about. But based on my experience and the knowledge that I've gained over the years, I think that working out, lifting weights, training, running, that's very important now. And that's, I think, one of the biggest pressures is trying to fit in and trying to be good enough, because when you get away from here, you're going to meet other people, other athletes, and you'll see them do things, and it's like, wow, how did they do that? But a lot of those guys have been training, not just playing the game, but training, at a very young age. And they came out of programs, came out of neighborhoods where they had people to teach them that. We didn't have that. Everybody just wanted to play. There was no mentors back then that was, talking to us about getting in shape, getting in the best shape you can be, being as strong as you could possibly be, being as fast as you could possibly be, because those things are so important. And today, I think that that's being stressed a lot more now. But back in my era when we were coming up, that just wasn't present.
Okay. So what is the downfall? Because as you know, so many athletes like myself and I mean numerous guys haven't really stayed the course and just played ball in high school, went to school all 4 years and got a degree or went to the next level. It's sort of the same story. We leave here, go to school, went maybe 1 and 2 years, now we back home. Can you kind of explain that?
Well, I can actually include my own experience with that. That happened to me. I got away for a couple years. I didn't have very much success when I went away to school because my priorities weren't where they needed to be. And I think that's what happened to many of our athletes. And this goes way back to athletes from the 70s when, Everett Jefferson and Chris French and Chuck French and all those guys were going to Roosevelt. And then on the other side, you had Drake Morris and Keita Walker, all those guys going through the 70 eras. A lot of those guys wound up back on the street. I'm just going to say that if the right people are in our lives and we get the proper guidance and we follow that guidance, then I think that we'll make better decisions. I had the proper people in my life, but I didn't make very good decisions. And I believe that that's what happens to a lot of our athletes. They fall off because somewhere along the line they make a poor choice. And that one choice probably prevents them from having any opportunity at success in, whether they're basketball, football, baseball, or just like me, just trying to go to school and get an education to better myself.